Hi, my name is Justin Ward. I'm a local artist and printmaker. I'm here to show you how to make an etching. First step is you take a zinc or metal etching plate and you polish it to a fine mirror-like finish. Once you have the plate prepared, you will put on a ground which protects the metal from the acid bath. Once the ground is dry, and the ground is an asphaltum mix wax process which protects the metal plate from the acid. You take an etching needle or any kind of sharp instrument and you draw your picture directly on the plate just like you're doing a pen and ink illustration. Any image you want. I tend to specialize in the local adobes, Fisherman's Wharf, Carmel Mission, and other local architectural sites. Once you draw your image onto the plate, the needle scratches through the ground. You will put it in an acid bath, and the acid bath will attack all the metal lines that you've drawn. The acid will dissolve the metal and allow the plate to hold ink. The next step is you clear that metal plate of the asphaltum ground back to its original, and what you get is your illustration, your drawing, etched into the zinc plate. Now the plate is ready to be inked and run through the printing press. The next step is to heat the plate on a little heating pad to warm up the ink so it allows it to go into the lines that you've drawn. The ink has to be spread throughout the entire plate to make sure you get the ink into every line that has been bitten by the acid. I'm using a piece of cardboard to force the ink into the etching lines. Etching is a process that goes back to the 1400s. Early armor engravers discovered that if you put metal into acid, it will etch your illustration into the plate. Etching has a long history going back to Rembrandt, Whistler, and up to the modern printmakers of today like Armin Hansen, whose prints you can see behind me. Armin Hansen is considered the finest local etcher that Monterey has produced. His scenes of local fisheries and fishermen capture the history of old Monterey. The next step in the process is to take a tarlatan rag, it's a cotton rag, and you're going to wipe off all the excess ink off of that plate so only the ink remains into the lines that you've etched. Slowly your image starts to appear as you wipe off the excess ink. You slowly coax the ink off the plate very gently, and what you see is an etching of Fisherman's Wharf. Now the plate is ready to be put into the etching press and run through with a sheet of paper. The next step in the etching process is to take your plate and place it on the bed of the press. This press was owned by Armin Hansen and is probably about 200 years old and has been in the museum collection for quite some time. It's quite an honor to be able to use Armin Hansen's old etching press. It really connects me with the artists of the past. It took me a while to get this etching press back into working order since it's been in storage for some time, but it's a wonderful old press and it really makes me proud to be part of Monterey's past. The next step in the process is to take a piece of damp paper and gently lay it over the printing plate. Gently lay the blankets over the print, over the paper, and onto the etching bed. The next step in the process is to crank this old press through. Now there's no gearing in this, it's a very old etching press, so it took a lot of manpower to actually move this to get the bed of the press through. In the olden days, they used to use their feet and their hands, so I have to grasp it, and this is where I get my exercise every day. This should do it. Then you lift the blankets up, place them out of the way, and you pull the etching off the plate. It's a very light impression, but what you do is you get the general idea.